We'll do it live. No, we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!
Oh, I just hit
Hi.
start. I hit start, then you played.
Hi. We are live.
Yes, we're going live, and we are live. Actually, that was a great way to start a live stream.
No Lawton tonight. No.
Yeah, there's
No.
no Lord of the Night tonight.
Pooh.
So what I think we're gonna do is,
Yes.
I'm gonna read some news stories.
All right. Do you
Alright.
want me to pull up the zoo one again?
Not yet.
Okay.
Let's read some of these submissions first to the hashtag.
All right.
Because
Sounds good.
they read Jim Healis, they read Collie Bernays,
Yes.
oh,
Yeah.
the half vaccine. The sun comes from frosted glass.
Did they read that one last night?
No, they read the solution to violence against women will never be more police. The one they didn't read from him is my roommate is having half vaccinated people over unmasked. So this is still an article. My roommate is having half vaccinated people over unmasked and I'm upset. Dear pandemic problems, I've weathered the pandemic over the past year with my roommate in San Francisco. We met on Craigslist in 2018, as roommates often do, and are a rare success story. We actually get along. In pre-pandemic days, we'd bike the city together and get drinks together. We went from being internet strangers to close friends pretty quickly. So when the city underwent its first shelter-in-place order in March 2020, I didn't feel complete dread of being hunkered in an 800 square foot apartment with my Craigslist roommate. And when many of my friends and coworkers took part in the massive exodus from San Francisco, part of the reason I didn't go home and live with my parents is because I had her. Now, of course, 1 year later, not everything is rainbows and butterflies in this apartment. As mostly everyone has found out, living and working within the same four walls with anyone certainly has its challenges. There have been times where I felt annoyed at her consistent lack of cleaning up after herself in the kitchen. She always leaves slices of lemon on the cutting board in the morning, but the pandemic has definitely made me more tolerant of such nitpicky behavior. I'm just happy I live with someone who I actually want to spend more time with and that we're born healthy. But lately, I've been at my wits' end with an issue that I believe is putting my health and safety in jeopardy. Her best friend, let's call him Giggy.
Giggy. You're a little quiet.
He is in fact a gig worker. Recently received the first dose of one of the two dose Moderna vaccines because of his occupation. I hadn't seen him in her presence without a mask for months, but now it appears that 5 days after dose 1, he feels entitled to come over, unmasked, and eat, drink, and breathe as he pleases.
How dare he? How dare he? My God, what a terrorist. What a bioterrorist. Murdering. Just, he is so entitled. Okay, go on.
WT actual F. What the actual... She invited me to chill with them and watch TV. She's also been unmasked with him, but I declined. And instead, stayed in my room and cranked my music like an angsty teen.
Wow,
more like an angry teen mad at her parents.
How stunning and brave and mature.
Ooh, Zalbla said hi.
Oh, hey, Zalbla. How are your boys?
Hi, Zalbla.
Zalbla, hello. How does Chuck sound, Zalbla?
Yeah, how do I sound? Am I wondering, or am I in the wrong for thinking that it is a bit premature to have maskless friend over who isn't fully vaccinated?
Well, better that than a masketeer.
Well, better than them having the mask on and then taking it off or adjusting it or even holding it when you don't know if they didn't wash their hands.
There's a restaurant in Kenosha that makes everybody wear masks at all times except for when taking bites. When you take your bite, you have to put your mask on when you chew. It's so stupid.
But then it gets contaminated because of all the food.
Oh well, too bad, so sad. I know it's stupid. I used to go there with my ex, but not anymore. Not until they lift this stupid mandate. Anyway, alright, you can go ahead.
It's really I have so many questions. I meekly tried to voice my concern to my housemate about this, and she shrugged it off and said, "He's already building immunity. I know her best he still has another 2 weeks at least until he receives his second dose. And from what I read, that means 2 weeks or 2 weeks after that until he's fully immune. Frankly, I don't know if that's a swear that this guy keeps coming around and
You're mad. You're
space.
angry. You're angry.
Yeah. Angry that this guy keeps coming around and breathing in my space, and I'm afraid I'll get sick. Or me or my housemate will get him sick. What do you think I should do?
That's you.
I'm debating moving back with my parents for a while, knowing that I can't trust my space and my housemates.
Okay.
They are good, just crazy. That's stupid. That makes the mask worthless.
Wait, you have to read the next part.
Oh, you read all this already?
No. There's a advertisement, and then there's sincerely vexed by the half vaccinated, and then there's the response.
I can't trust my housemate. Sincerely vexed by the half vaccinated. Dear vexed by the half vaccinated, your vexation with the half vaccinated gig worker is certainly understandable, given the moral, social, epidemiological nuance of your situation.
Pun intended? Is the pun intended? Vexation of vaccination, you know? Ha ha ha. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Admittedly, I'd be vexed too. It strikes me as a bit insensitive and inconsiderate of your housemate to invite a friend over without asking you if you're comfortable with it or not. Though you did not say it directly, you implied that you must have had a conversation about guests with your
conversation
at some point. Huh? What did I say?
You said conversion.
Oh, you implied that you must have a conversation about guests with your roommate at some point and decided not to have unmasked guests over during the pandemic, and this is now the first. And I'm also guessing that you and your roommate had discussed being in a shared bubble together, and it sounds like Geeky is violating that unwritten bubble agreement. Oh, there's still more.
Yes.
Indeed, in the before time, I'm guessing it would be normal to come home from work and find a roommate hosting a guest. If your roommate had to ask your permission, then that would be strange. But pre-pandemic, social rules no longer apply, especially when it comes to sharing a home together. The apartment you live in isn't just a place where you sleep at night. It's a literal physical barrier that keeps you both safe from a deadly virus that has killed 2.6 million people around the world as of this week.
Out of 8 billion.
Almost 8 billion.
It's the second Black Plague, you guys. Okay, sorry.
But let's talk about your friendship with your roommate first. It sounds like up until now, things have been good, and if there's anything the pandemic has taught us, it's that the people in our lives, our friends and family matter. We need them to survive. Vaxxed by the half-vaccinated, I sense a certain fondness you feel toward your roommate, a kinship that was strong enough in the beginning of the pandemic to make you want to hunker down with her. Surely this time has been a bonding experience and has only made your relationship stronger. Yes, like you say, it has been all rainbows and butterflies, but what relationship is constantly rainbows and butterflies?
Consistently.
Hint, none, nada. Life is full of But life is full of rough patches and uncertain moments, and this is just one of those with you and your roommate. I don't want to excuse her behavior, but it's definitely not okay. But I do think there's a better solution than moving back in with your parents and avoiding the matter at hand. First, let's look at the data about the risk of you're dealing with here. You say that Gigi received the first dose of the Moderna shot 5 days ago. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, states a person is considered to be fully vaccinated 2 weeks after the second dose of the Moderna vaccine. The CDC's guideline is clear about anything before the 2-week mark. If it's been less than 2 weeks since your first shot, or if you will still need to get your second dose, you are not fully protected, the CDC states on its website. Both the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines are 2 doses for a reason. The first dose of the vaccine trains
I can't hear you.
The first dose of the vaccine trains a person's immune system to recognize and attack the spike protein on the surface of SARS-CoV-2. The second dose, which is given 4 weeks later for the Moderna vaccine, boasts the antibody levels to provide a person with better immunity. The 14-day period after the second dose is a random number. That is when, according to clinical trials, a person has reached their protection threshold, and the second dose helps train one's B and T cells to give the coronavirus their very best fight. But does immunity start over after one dose? Technically, yes. According to the document Moderna submitted to the FDA, the vaccine likely provides 80.2% protection after one dose. But there are a few caveats. This was measured 28 days after the first dose, not 5 days after. How long that immunity lasts is unknown, and whether a first dose blocks transmission of viruses is unknown. There's still more.
Last paragraph.
However, Moderna tested its clinical trial volunteers before they received their second dose on their 28th day. Their findings found that there were fewer asymptomatic infections among people receiving the vaccine compared to those who got a placebo, suggesting that transmission could be decreased. But again, that happened 28 days after receiving the first dose, not 5. I think you need to sit down with your roommate and let her know that you don't feel comfortable having Gigi over until he's fully vaccinated, which is 2 weeks after he receives his second dose. It sounds like you two have made it this far without getting COVID-19, and I'd hate to see you risk it now. If your roommate doesn't hear you or respect your boundaries, then I certainly support you leaving. You need to do what's best for yourself, and I think this would certainly warrant rethinking your friendship. Have the conversation. Conservation. Be honest about your totally valid fears and take care of yourself. That's by the half vaccinated. I'm rooting for you.
They said conservation. Conservation. They're supposed to say conversation. They're dumb. They can't print articles properly. They can't. No. They meant conversation. You were right. They were wrong. Okay. You want to read the bold?
Reading it as it's written.
Pandemic problems is an advice column. Answering readers' pandemic problems.
Pandemic problems is an advice column answering readers' pandemic problems, often with help from public health data, philosophy professors, and therapists who weigh in on how to do the right thing. Do you have a pandemic problem? Email Nicole Cartless at... Alright, that's the end of the article.
Yeah. You want me to read the school article in those voices, or...
The school article?
Yeah, the one that they read last night, but in the whole thing. Or shouldn't I?
What voices?
The ones where I, stereotype the 2 women.
Oh, yeah, you can if you want.
Okay. Okay, this comes from Slate.com, and it's originally from, I think, Sean Uli. Or no, Froggy, I'm sorry. My white daughter was bullied out of her majority black school. How should we process this experience? Okay. Dear Care and Feeding, I am a liberal, white, upper middle class parent, and we live in a mixed income, racially integrated urban neighborhood. When it came time to enroll our daughter in high school, we selected a school that was majority black because it was close by, and we rejected the notion of getting caught up in which magnet school was the most prestigious. Our daughter had a horrible time there. She was harassed so much that we had to pull her out, and other non-black students there were victimized because of their race. I am struggling to make sense of the experience. I think she's managed it well and hasn't let it affect her general views on race, and I believe I'm doing the same. But mostly, I am just so angry that our daughter had to endure this, and I feel guilty that I put her in this position. I also feel caught between friends who seem to want to say, I told you so, and those who seem to think that saying that she was the victim of racial harassment somehow makes me seem racist, since it was at the hands of black students. Maybe I should just chalk it up to bad luck, but how can I let go of the guilt and anger and all of the other awful reactions I'm having to this? Hoping I'm not a Karen. Dear Hoping I'm not a Karen, you don't sound like a Karen to me, and I am very sorry that your daughter had a negative experience at her former school. No child deserves to be treated that way, and I think it would be ideal for both you and her to speak to a professional about the feelings you are experiencing as a result. This is a deeply complicated matter. There's what you seem to know about how racism functions in this country, which is in stark contrast with what seems to be happening at this particular school. How your daughter recovers from this experience and how you recover will mean a lot in terms of your relationship to black people going forward and your understanding of these awful racial dynamics that surround us. I will not defend the actions of any child who went out of their way to mistreat a classmate without provocation. I, like many other black parents, take seriously the dual responsibility of teaching my child to both understand racism and resist the urge to take out the pain that racism causes her on people who benefit most from it. I also recognize that in an area like the one you live in, one that sounds like it is somewhere in the process of gentrification, an influx of upper middle class white folks can be absolutely devastating. So again, bullying, regardless of the bully's background, is not okay, but you asked about the larger context here, and so that's what I'll try to unpack. After years of being told that your community was unimportant and unworthy of resources, you get to watch it become a hot spot. See investment that would have never been made on your behalf. Black folks who once had the hood as a place to be surrounded by their own kind after long days of having to labor for white people now have to watch whites become the most affluent and seemingly most content residents of our ghettos. If that were not traumatic enough, there is also the matter of our interpersonal interactions with our new neighbors, many of whom have called the police on us, unilaterally organized to reshape our schools, or otherwise come into our sacred places and treated us as we are so often treated by white people, poorly. Here is another tricky subtext at hand when something like what your daughter experienced happens. Consider the likelihood that a black person over the age of 16 has had or witnessed at least one egregiously racist experience herself and has been made at least somewhat aware of how racism shapes the world around us. For us, this is to be expected. Racism is just part of what this country is and what we are up against, and we basically have to play. Egregiously. Thank you. Racism is just part of what this country is and what we are up against, and we basically have to plan to suffer as a result. One of the ways we attempt to negate that suffering is by forming community with others like us, away from the gaze of those who participate in and benefit from our oppression. Whether this was a school that was a source of pride for black families in your area or simply the local black high school, it was a place where these kids, living lives undoubtedly complicated by the gentrification that brought you to this area, connect with peers who are living like they do. Your daughter might not have done anything deliberately to harm anyone or to invite mistreatment, But her presence disrupts something truly fragile: the feeling of safety black kids get from being with other black kids. Those kids see their parents struggling to afford to live in an area that is changing to better reflect people like you. They think of how they and the adults they love have been treated by white folks in positions of authority their entire lives, perhaps including some of the teachers at this black school. They know the world is kinder to your child than it is to them. The combination of that knowledge, that pain, and their youth can be very volatile. Here's something else to consider. The disruption that white students pose in black schools does not always come at the same cost to white kids that it did to your daughter. Indeed, there have been many instances of black kids fawning over non-black peers because they have been convinced that their privilege makes them somehow special. Nearly every white rapper is an example of this happening on a grand scale. How you might have reacted to something like that says a lot about just how prepared for this experience you were in the first place. Imagine if your daughter had been very popular at the school, well-liked and embraced by her peers. What if her whiteness had made her a celebrity of sorts, accepted and celebrated by students and teachers alike because of the ways that society typically privileges white girlhood? How might you have reacted to that? Would you have been concerned about how this could affect the black girls in her class? What if she were the valedictorian in that all-black school? Would that have been a problem to you? School integration is complicated, and the U.S. has never worked to implement it in any meaningful way. The haphazard integration that has been born of gentrification has and will continue to hurt a lot of kids. I am sorry that your daughter was one of them, and I hope you are able to get her through this difficult time with the right attitude. And that's the end of the article. That's the whole article. So yeah, she's racist. She's racist.
Yes.
She's a bully apologist. Yeah. I hope Zable's still here. I don't know if she's lurking or what. She had to
I hope she is too. There's
take care of the boys. Take care of the boys. Take care of the boys or what?
Yeah.
Oh,
It says live viewers and it says my name.
How did I do? How did I do?
Excellent.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Celebratory golf clap?
Yes.
Yay. He's still going. Oh, hi,
Good
Mark.
evening.
Hello, Mark.
So, I guess we'll read Sean Uli's. They didn't read that one today.
Wait, which one?
Sean Uli.
Okay. Do you want to read it?
New York Post. I mean, I guess I could.
Okay. I can read the zoo one after that.
Did they read the others? They read Pencalos and Massive Dynamics.
I don't know. Did they read Gerald Ford? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, you can read that if you
Because I
want.
don't know if they read,
Your computer's so loud.
I know. Here, I'm wait.
Get another
But I
laptop.
need to be in front of it so that I can read the story. You know what?
Okay.
You can read it if you want, I guess.
You want me to read it? Okay, I'll read it. You want me to
As
read
long
the
as
zoo?
my
You
computer's
want me to read the zoo one too after that?
if you want.
All right, this one comes from the New York Post by Sean Uli. Gerald Ford stumbled like Joe Biden in 1975 and got roasted for it. And I guess I could read the caption of the picture. President Gerald Ford lands on his hands after slipping and falling on a wet ramp while exiting Air Force One in Salzburg, Austria on June 1, 1975. President Biden's wince-inducing series of stumbles while boarding Air Force One on Friday calls to mind Gerald Ford's 1975 fall on the same stairs, a minor tumble that forever tarred him as a clumsy oaf. Chevy Chase pilloried Ford in a series of ruthless and hilarious Saturday Night Live skits, even though the object of his ridicule was just 62 years old and an ex-University of Michigan football star who avidly skied and golfed. That should be 2 I's in the word skied. But Ford's caught-on-camera stumble down the rain-slicked steps of Air Force One in Austria, plus a Biden-esque trip while climbing up the same set of stairs in Michigan soon afterward, was all Chase needed to crown Ford the klutz in chief. As a bumbling Ford, Chase's ham-handed handling, nice choice of words there, of the resolute desk telephone and his lurching pratfalls continued week after week, to the point where the president decided he needed to clap back. Ooh, girl. At a Radio and Television Correspondents Association dinner later in 1975, Ford was climbing to the podium to speak when he sneakily yanked the edge of the tablecloth where Chase was sitting, sending tableware flying the comedian's way. Ford made sure to look back over his shoulder in mock surprise. Quote, "I'm Gerald Ford, and you're not," unquote, he deadpanned to Chase after inviting the comedian to perform at a White House dinner in March 1976, stealing the show as the audience burst into applause and laughter. Other presidents and would-be presidents have survived their own trips and falls relatively unscathed. In 2011, Hillary Clinton, then President Barack Obama's Secretary of State, fell as she boarded a plane leaving Yemen. Quote, "You know, those things happen," unquote, she shrugged later. Then presidential candidate Bob Dole fell off a stage while campaigning in 1996. President George H.W. Bush fell while bowling in Milwaukee during the 1992 campaign, and his son, President George W. Bush, famously fell off a Segway in Kennebunkport, Maine in 2003. And that's the end of the article. So there you go. My goodness, the media is really waving off Joe Biden's fall as if it is normal for every known president. The man is old, not a child. Shake my head. Oh, you're sharing the article. Well, thank you.
The image looks like it's from 1925 instead of 1975.
And that's because there were a lot of black and white photos even back then.
My laptop is still being...
Yeah, it is. It sounds like a plane about to take off. I'm sorry. Oh, come on. Please don't. Please don't. Oh, you son of a bitch.
So you're going to read the zoo story? I was going to call it Gorilla.
I don't know. Do you want me to read the zoo article after this right now?
Well, you said you could have.
I could have. Do you still want me to?
Might as well, since my laptop's still being loud.
Do you want me to read it or not?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This one comes from crimeonline.com, and this did not come from anybody who submitted it. Okay. See it. Zoo elephant charges at man who brought toddler daughter into habitat. A 25-year-old man was arrested Friday after he brought his 2-year-old daughter in the San Diego Zoo's elephant habitat and one of the animals charged at them. Police said both Jose Navarrete and his daughter got out of the enclosure safely, and the zoo said the elephants were also unharmed. Quote, "This afternoon, March 19, 2021, 2 guests, despite multiple barriers, purposely and illegally trespassed into a habitat which is home to our Asian and African elephants," unquote, the zoo said in a statement. Quote, "San Diego Zoo security promptly responded to the incident, but the guests had already exited the habitat," unquote. Navarrete faces a charge related to child cruelty and is being held on a $100,000 bail. He is scheduled for arraignment on March 30. Zoo guest Matthew Pasiglia told NBC7 the African elephant noticed Navarrete and the toddler very quickly. Quote, "A lot of people froze and didn't know really how to take it in. Then immediately everyone was pleading with him, and then it became frantic and hysterical," unquote, Pasiglia said. Next, he said, the elephant roared. Quote, "It was a big roar. The elephant stuck its head up in the air and its tusks, and he started trotting toward them," unquote, Pasiglia said. Other witnesses tried to help, Pasiglia said, and Navarrete tripped and dropped the little girl. Quote, "I didn't think it was going to end well," unquote, he said, but Navarrete picked up his daughter and got outside the fence in time. That's it.
Oh, that's all.
Yeah.
I agree, Zabla.
he should be charged for that stunt. Hey, Zabla is still here. Howdy do. And Mark agrees with her. Yep. He should have his daughter taken away for being so stupid.
Child Protective Services.
CPS. Well, yeah. Where's the mom? If they're not married, I don't know. Or foster family,
idea.
or aunt, uncle, grandma, whatever, grandparents. No idea either. Yeah, we've been going for a half hour.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't checked if they also looked at Massive Dynamics. Alright, so I'm going to the stream, open transcript, Control F. Monkey's appeal was rejected.
Okay then, well shoot. He's been
Alright.
streaming for 2 hours.
Massive Dynamics.
I can't exit out of any tabs. What the hell?
Alright, so I just typed massive in, of course YouTube would spell it that way. Of course YouTube would spell dynamics like that.
D something. DYNAM.
Wait. There we go. Let's see this one. Let's see, Massive Dynamics is,
Yes.
Alright.
What?
So the transcript of the videos, or the stream says, oh, let's see, Massive Dynamics, how about this one? I'll do a couple more, then we'll move on. I think I read something about this one the other day. Stop playing videos. Okay, family. Stimulus chocolate to Indiana. Yeah, they did read Massive Dynamics is...
Okay,
Now, let's see.
you're kind of roboting.
Roboting?
You were kind of roboting there. I could barely hear you.
Oh.
You were mumbling a little bit too.
Pink color.
Pinkalo. Which one? The volcano one? I think they read that one. Oh, the original Shroom just submitted one.
Yeah.
Do you want to read it or do you want me to read it?
I don't think they got to Pinkalos.
The volcano one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
they
they?
read that one. Yeah, they did.
Oh. Are you sure?
Yeah, I even quoted or commented about it in chat.
Oh.
Yeah, Iceland is not a happy place to live, Scribe said.
Because Pinkalo... Maybe because they don't know how to spell Pinkalo.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, in the chat.
Okay, well...
Or I mean the transcript. I'll just take
Do
your
you
word for it.
Do you want to read the original Shrooms or do you want me to read it?
I could read it.
Okay, go ahead.
Something to the original Shroom. Air Force Times. Air Force target drone shot down in Gulf of Mexico. Washes ashore in Southern Florida. I was gonna say Southern... Oh, because you read the zoo story.
Yeah.
The ad. Like, you're getting ads. Alright. A U.S. Force BQM 167A aerial target drone washes ashore in Boynton Beach, Florida. Miranda Christian. Oh, that's just the name of the thing. An Air Force target drone strayed far from home this week, washing up on the beach at Ocean Ridge Hammock in Boynton Beach, Florida, after a test run over the Atlantic Ocean. The orange, 20-foot-long BQM 167A aerial target plane came to rest in South Florida after launching from Tyndall Air Force Base in the Florida Panhandle. A reporter for the local NBC affiliate posted photos of the drone surrounded by police on Twitter Friday. The 53rd Wing's Weapons Evaluations Group flew the target drone from Tyndall over the military's testing ranges from the Gulf of Mexico wing spokesperson the first. Savannah Bray said in an email Friday that means it was likely carried by a Gulf Stream about 500 miles from where it was shot down around the southern tip of Florida and up to its final resting spot. Its journey may have lasted 2 or 3 months, she said. As Air Force fighter jets shoot down the drones during target practice, boats owned by the 53rd Wing head out to scoop up the downed planes. Each airframe costs $570,000 and can pull up to 9 Gs in flight, carrying payloads like electronic attack pods, a scoring system, and infrared and radar systems. Sometimes, like in this instance, weather, waves, or other circumstances prevent our boats from being able to recover the drones, and they can wash up on the shore, Bray said. The situation isn't dangerous nor entirely uncommon. WTV reporter Miranda Christian tweeted that the local officials briefly closed the beach, but ultimately deemed the area near the plane safe.
You're quiet. I can't hear you.
Oh, that was just the last part. WPTV reporter Miranda Christian tweeted the local officials briefly closed the beach, but ultimately deemed the area near the plane safe.
Is that it?
Yeah. We should have showed this.
Okay. I think is Monkey still streaming?
He just ended.
Okay. Because I can't close any of my tabs for some reason. Ow!
Oh, that sucks. You okay?
Yeah, there's an echo on your end, I think.
Oh.
Or there was, not anymore.
So should we do some internet effatry?
I can look on Twitter for effatry.
I don't know.
The Biden administration has kept in place a Trump-era order that allows border officials to expel migrants, according to journalists and fact-checkers. So, I don't know if that's true. I hope it is. So, and COVIDiots is still trending on Twitter, the hashtag.
Oh, there is a transcript for Buckley's video. That's not common in his channel. I don't know why.
A dose of Buckley.
Yeah.
Yep.
Posted a new video as he does every day at noon. I know you guys love when I talk about American politics, so let's get to it. The House of Representatives recently voted to pass the Equality Act, which is designed to extend existing civil rights laws to members of the LGBTQ community. In short, it's designed to do things like make it so a landlord can't tell a gay person you can't rent an apartment here, which is actually still legal to do in over 20 states, or an employer can't refuse to hire a trans person just because they're trans. Basically, they get the same protections black people have received since 1964, or everyone, including the Irish, or at least according to what Sanguine Magaban told me. Because that guy knows his history. He really does know a lot. It does a lot of research into these types of things. You can read the entire bill online. It's H.R. 5, the Equality Act, and in it you won't find a single thing that says sports teams must allow men in wigs to play women's sports. But over the last little while, that's becoming a huge talking point for some reason, with really outdated references being used for some reason. Buckley mentioned this in his video. He said that the really outdated references being used. He's the same guy who mocked Christians last year because of the Super Bowl. He was just cherry-picking Christians like it's the 80s or the 90s.
Yeah.
He has no right to talk about what's outdated. He did it in a video in 2015 where some radio station was just posting memes on Facebook. One of them was Where's Waldo. He said that was also outdated.
Do you remember when Citigroup accidentally sent 500 million to those other parties?
What?
Remember when Citigroup accidentally sent $500 million to those other parties?
I don't think so.
Well, because Scribe read about it and they're like, oopsie. So I guess there's an article about it, but I'm not going to read it. Because it's almost time for Minions.
Right. I wasn't going to get too much into this video. I was just reading the transcript because I was just so surprised that it was on there. So, might as well share screen too. When I checked this morning, the video kept getting tons of dislikes.
Mm-hmm. Are you gonna post it in private chat?
I could just post it in the public chat. So it got dislikes. I'm trying to remember the different numbers because I know that there was one that had like 16 dislikes, as opposed to 66 dislikes. There was another that had 137 dislikes and 900 likes.
I just disliked it. It's 300 dislikes and 2.8k likes. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're now at 305 dislikes.
What?
We're at 305 dislikes.
Oh, okay.
On the video.
Let me see. Yeah.
Hypocrite, I guess he's trying to outdo the outdated stories and individuals. Because, yeah, criticizing Christianity, that's so 80s or 90s.
Yeah, it's 10:30.
Oh, yeah, the Minions are going to start.
Yep.
So Harry's hosting as always. Who else is there?
I don't know.
They're doing a countdown.
Do you want to head on over there now?
Hang on. No, because this is so odd. They never do a countdown. Or unless only Delahaye does. Alright.
Oh, stream count. This is the weakest the Webb Telescope and Gen Z just can't even.
Okay.
Okay.
25, 24.
Or do you want to head on over there now? You want to head on over there now?
Yeah, might as well. It's just, I don't know why they're doing this countdown.
You can ask them.
It's kind of amusing. It's groovy.
Why don't you ask
Saturday
them?
night music. Oh, yeah, I probably should.
You could ask them.
Right.
Good evening and welcome to the Minions Zoo.
You want to head on over there now?
Yeah. Thank you everyone for watching. Thanks Dr. Keith for being on.
Yep.
Good evening. Sora Luna.
Alright. See you guys later.
Oh, I'll post the link in chat.
Star 13.
Okay.
Howdy ho.
Scab Talk.
Hi everybody.
And a muted Geodes.
Hello.
Wait,
yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Like the new intro, Harry.